Yeah, I thought Liverpool looked like a really weak team today.
Liverpool's struggles continue apace.
There's a stat buried in Liverpool's season review that should have been the headline story of the entire year, and almost nobody outside the club actually talked about it properly. One player started all 53 matches he was available for. Not most of them. All of them, eh? In a season where Liverpool's spine cracked, where record signings misfired, where the identity of the whole club seemed to be in question every single week.
They've been completely miles off it, if we're being honest, in the sense of their standards. Their level is way higher than what they're performing at.
One man simply refused to have an off night for 11 months straight. That man wasn't Salah, it wasn't Van Dijk, it wasn't even one of the £400 million worth of new arrivals. It was Dominik Szoboszlai, and by the time you understand exactly what he did last season and exactly what Andoni Iraola's football actually needs from a player like him, you'll understand why I think Liverpool's entire campaign this year runs through one man more than any other. Let's start with the numbers, because they're genuinely startling once you line them up properly. 53 appearances, every single one of them from the start. 13 goals, a team-high 12 assists. Only Hugo Ekitike scored more for Liverpool last season, and nobody created more chances than Szoboszlai did. 78 in total, with 14 of those rated as big chances. He topped the expected assist charts too, at 6.8. That's not a good season from a squad player filling gaps. That's a genuinely elite offensive output from a midfielder who wasn't even signed to be Liverpool's primary creative outlet. And here's the part that actually should worry you if you're a Liverpool fan heading into this season. He did all of that while also being the club's emergency right-back for large chunks of the year. Think about what that actually means for a second. In a campaign where Liverpool were dealing with a genuine defensive injury crisis, the manager's solution, repeatedly, was to pull his best attacking midfielder out of the middle of the pitch and stick him at right-back. And Szoboszlai didn't just cope with it, he performed well enough there that it stopped being an emergency measure and started being an actual tactical option. Then he'd go back into midfield the following week and produce a match-winning free kick. There is genuinely no other player in that Liverpool squad who could do both of those things at a high level in the same month, let alone the same season. This is where things get properly interesting, because this wasn't even supposed to be his role heading into the season. 12 months ago, Szoboszlai's actual position in the team was unclear. Florian Wirtz had just arrived for around £100 million, seemingly destined to inherit the number 10 role that Szoboszlai had been thriving in. Other arrivals were adding even more competition for his spot. By most reasonable predictions, this was supposed to be the year Szoboszlai got squeezed out of Liverpool's best 11, not the year he became undroppable. Instead, while Wirtz and several of the club's other big-money arrivals struggled to hit the ground running as results dipped, Szoboszlai did the opposite. He produced his best individual form in a Liverpool shirt across multiple different positions, in a season where the team around him was genuinely falling apart. Liverpool conceded more goals across that 38-game season than in any campaign since 1914. And yet there's a strange, specific detail buried in the data that tells you everything about Szoboszlai's importance. Arsenal, the eventual champions, failed to score against Liverpool at all that season. The one fixture where Liverpool's collapsing defence somehow held firm against the best attack in the league was marked by a stunning Szoboszlai free kick. The kind of moment that's become something close to a trademark for him now. That free kick ability deserves its own conversation, honestly, because it's not a minor detail, it's become a genuine weapon. 8 of his goals last season made the 20-strong shortlist for Liverpool's official goal of the season vote. That's not luck. That's a player who has turned a genuinely rare skill in the modern game. Proper technique from a dead ball into a repeatable source of goals that most Premier League midfielders simply don't have in their locker. Now here's where I actually want to talk about who this player is off the pitch, because I don't think you can properly understand why fans and teammates are reacting to him the way they are without it. Mohamed Salah, during his time at the club, described Szoboszlai as one of the best players in the world. Virgil van Dijk, unprompted, started talking about him as a future leader of this team, saying he could still make the next step in terms of leadership, that it starts with leading by example. which is exactly what Szoboszlai had been doing. When your own captain, one of the most respected leaders in the Premier League, starts publicly grooming you as his long-term successor, that's not just praise, that's succession planning happening in real time. With Andy Robertson departing Liverpool for Tottenham this summer, the vice-captaincy is genuinely up for grabs, and Szoboszlai is being positioned as one of the two front-runners alongside Alisson. Iraola himself was asked directly about it during pre-season in Chicago, and while he stopped short of confirming anything, he said Szoboszlai definitely has to be one of Liverpool's leaders going forward, while adding that he views the role itself as less important, because he wants a team full of leaders on the pitch rather than relying on one armband. That's a genuinely smart answer from a new manager still getting to know his squad, but read between the lines and it's obvious Szoboszlai is already viewed as core to whatever leadership structure Iraola eventually builds. And Liverpool have already backed that up with the most concrete signal a football club can send. Szoboszlai has signed a new 5-year contract at Anfield, running through to 2031, ending any speculation about his long-term future just as this new Iraola era begins. His actual reaction to signing it was a simple, honest "finally," which tells you this wasn't a reluctant re-signing squeezed out under pressure. It was a player who genuinely wanted this to be resolved and is fully committed to being part of whatever Liverpool build next. So now let's get into the actual football, because none of this leadership and off-field stuff matters if he doesn't fit what Iraola's building tactically. And this is where I think the case for Szoboszlai becomes genuinely undeniable. Iraola's whole footballing identity, built over 3 seasons at Bournemouth, is a hybrid press that starts zonal and flips into aggressive man-marking pressure the second the ball gets trapped wide, followed by fast vertical transitions the moment possession is won back. It's a system that demands players who can do multiple jobs inside the same 90 minutes, press relentlessly without the ball, then immediately become a genuine attacking threat the second it's recovered. It's not a system built for one-dimensional specialists. It's built for players with range. Szoboszlai is, almost by definition, the single most positionally versatile outfield player in that entire Liverpool squad. He's played as a genuine number 10, a box-to-box 8, a deeper 6 for Hungary, and an emergency right-back for Liverpool, all at a genuinely high level, all within the space of about 18 months. Compare that to Wirtz, who, for all his undeniable talent, is fundamentally a number 10, a player whose game is built around finding pockets between the lines rather than covering multiple defensive and attacking roles across a match. There's nothing wrong with that profile. Plenty of the best players in the world are pure number 10s. But if you're building a system around total positional flexibility and relentless work rate across 90 minutes, the way Iraola clearly is, Szoboszlai's actual skill set maps onto that far more directly than Wirtz's does right now. Think about what Iraola actually needs from his midfield specifically. He needs players who trigger the press the instant the ball is lost, who can cover ground box to box without needing to be substituted for fresh legs at the hour mark, and who can immediately turn a defensive recovery into a forward-moving attack rather than needing 3 or 4 passes to reset. Szoboszlai's underlying numbers last season, the chance creation, the expected assists, the sheer number of appearances without breaking down physically, all point to exactly that profile. He's not just technically gifted, he's built like a player who can survive and thrive inside a genuinely demanding pressing system for a full season, which is precisely what nearly broke several of Liverpool's other new signings last year. So, where should Iraola actually start him? Here's my honest read on it. Not at right back, not permanently at least. That was survival mode during a genuine crisis, not a long-term tactical plan. And wasting his attacking output in a purely defensive role would be a genuine mistake once Liverpool have proper cover there again. The right home for him is as the more advanced of a 2-man central midfield, or as a genuine box-to-box 8 in a 3, somewhere he can both trigger the press high up the pitch and arrive late into the box, for example exactly the kind of shooting positions that produced 13 goals last season. Playing him deeper as a 6 would waste his goal threat completely, and playing him as a pure number 10 limits his defensive contribution, which is exactly the part of his game Iraola's system depends on most. The 8 role, box to box, is where every single one of his attributes actually gets used rather than just some of them. And when you put him there specifically, you start to see why he might genuinely be a more efficient fit for this system than Wirtz right now. Wirtz needs the team to create the right pocket of space for him to operate in. He thrives on service and structure around him. Szoboszlai creates his own opportunities. He presses, wins it back himself, and drives forward with the ball rather than waiting for it to arrive in the right spot. In a first season under a new manager, with a squad still learning a completely different defensive structure, a player who generates his own moments rather than depending on the system being perfectly drilled around him is genuinely more valuable early on. That's not a permanent verdict on Wirtz, who is a serious talent and will likely grow into this system over time. It's simply an honest read of who's more plug and play right now in year 1 under a manager who needs reliability more than potential. Let's talk about the risk side of this too, because it wouldn't be a fair breakdown without it. Playing a player across this many positions at this volume of minutes for an entire season carries obvious physical risk. 53 appearances without missing a single one through injury is remarkable, but it's not necessarily sustainable forever, and burning him out early in a season with Champions League football added to the calendar would be a genuinely costly mistake. There's also a leadership question worth being honest about. Being an exceptional player and being ready to captain one of the biggest clubs in the world are two different things. And there have been minor moments of frustration from Szoboszlai on the pitch in the past, the kind of thing that gets scrutinised far more heavily the moment you're handed an armband. Those are real considerations, not reasons to dismiss the case, but reasons Iraola will need to manage carefully rather than assume will simply sort themselves out. But strip all of that back and focus purely on what actually happened on a football pitch last season. One player started every available match. One player created more chances than anyone else in the squad. One player scored the goal that kept the reigning champions off the score sheet. One player adapted to an emergency defensive role well enough to make it look like a genuine tactical weapon rather than a crisis measure. And one player has just been rewarded with a new 5-year deal specifically because the club views him as central to whatever comes next under Iraola. That's not a squad player, that's the engine the entire team runs on, whether Liverpool's front office wants to publicly frame it that way or not. So here's where I land on this. If Iraola's Liverpool are going to challenge for the title this season, it isn't going to hinge purely on whether Wirtz finally clicks or whether Isak stays fit, or even on how quickly the manager's pressing ideas bed in. It's going to hinge on whether the one player who refused to have a bad season last year, in the middle of genuine chaos around him, can do it all over again on a bigger stage with even more expected of him. Anyway, that's my take. Let me know down below if you think I'm overrating him or if you're actually with me on this one. Subscribe if you want more of these. I'll see you in the next video.